This video is on writing and graphing equations of lines in slope-intercept form. The equation of a line can be written in several different forms. One of these is called slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form of an equation of a line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept, that is, where the graph of the line crosses the y-axis. This is called slope-intercept form because I can look at the equation of a line written in this form and right away tell what the slope is, the number in front of x, and what its y-intercept is, the number that's added or subtracted on the end. So for example, in the linear equation y equals negative 2/5 x plus 4, negative 2/5 is the slope, that's the number that comes right before x, and its y-intercept is 4. That means that it crosses the y-axis at the point 0, 4. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Good. So to graph an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, we want to begin with the y-intercept, that is, begin with the b, and we want to move with the slope, move with our m. So let's go ahead and graph this line. So I have my b is 4, so that means I'm going to graph the y-intercept the point 0, 4, and that's going to be my starting point, and my slope is a negative 2/5. Now remember, you can write that fraction as negative 2 over 5 or a positive 2 over a negative 5. Recall also that slope is the change in the y direction over the change in the x direction. In other words, how much does something change up or down over how much it changes left or right. So a negative 2 on top means that I'm going to move down 2, and a positive 5 on the bottom means I'm going to move right 5. A positive 2 on the top, remember that's my up or down, means I'm going to move up 2. And a negative 5 on the bottom, that's my left or right, means I'm going to move left 5. So from our beginning point, from our y-intercept, that's how we're going to move. So I'm going to go down 2 and right 5 and put a dot. I could continue going that direction, down 2 and right 5 and put another dot. Okay, but I really only need one on that side. Let's go to go back to our y-intercept and let's go up 2 and left 5. So from here up 2 and left 5. And if I wanted to, I could do that again, go up 2 and left 5. You'll notice that all of those points lie on the same line, as they should. So we connect those dots with a line. And that's the graph of the line y equals negative 2/5 x plus 4. So you'll notice that it has a downward, kind of as you look at it from left to right, it's going down. So that has a negative slope. Just always good to confirm that you've got your slope going in the right direction. Given the graph of a line, you can write its equation in slope-intercept form by identifying the slope and the y-intercept. So here we have a graph of a line, and we need to write its equation. Well, the first thing I'm going to look for is what is its y-intercept? What is its b? Its b is 1, 2, 3. b is negative 3. That's negative 3 on the y-axis. And then what is its slope? Well, I can pick any 2 points and figure out how I move going from one point to the next. So let's pick this point right here. So to go from that point to this point, I'm going to go up 2 and right 3. So up 2 is a positive 2, right 3 is a positive 3. And it doesn't matter if I wanted to go maybe down, if I wanted to choose, maybe start at this point and go this way, I could go down 2 and left 3, down 2 and left 3. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Either way, my slope is going to be 2/3. So the equation of this line is going to be y equals 2/3 x minus 3. That's in the form y equals mx plus b. And I don't need to do plus negative 3. I can just do minus 3. Okay, now let's move into writing the equations of lines in slope-intercept form. We can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form if we know the slope and the y-intercept, or if we know the slope and any point on the line, not necessarily the y-intercept, or if we know any 2 points on the line. So let's do an example of each one of those. So the first one here, it says write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of -3/4 and a y-intercept of 7. So remember, we want to write this in the form y equals mx plus b. And this one's kind of straightforward because they tell me that my slope is -3/4 and they tell me that my y-intercept is 7. So I already know what my m and my b are, so I just need to plug those into here. So y equals -3/4 x plus 7. Notice that in all of these that we're looking at, in your final answer, in the way you write the equation of the line, x always stays x and y always stays y. Okay? Next example, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form that has a slope of 2/3. So there's my m, that's kind of nice, and passes through the point 9, 2. Now that's not the y-intercept because x is not 0. I can't just plug in 2 for b. But I do know a couple things. I do know that m is 2/3, and I know that one of my points is 9, 2, and I know that that has to be an x on the line, and that's a y value on the line. So on this line, when x is 9, y is 2. So I'm going to use my slope-intercept form here, and I'm going to substitute in some values. Notice the one thing that I don't know is I don't know what my b is. That's what I have to find. I have to find my y-intercept. But I do know that 2 is a y-coordinate on the line. I know that my slope is 2/3, and I know that 9 is the x of my point, and I don't know what my b is. So I plugged in my point for x and y, and I plugged in my slope for m. Now I can just solve that for b. So 2/3 times 9 is going to give me 18/3, which is 6. And then subtracting 6 on each side, I get that b is equal to -4. So my equation is going to be y equals 2/3, which is my m, times x minus 4. In our last example, I'm given 2 points and I need to write the equation of the line. Write the equation of the line that passes through the points -2, 13 and 3, -12. Well, notice I don't know what my slope is and I don't know what my y-intercept is, but I can find both of those. Remember, anytime I have 2 points, I can find my slope. So I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that gives me -25 over a +5, or my slope is -5. Okay, now I do it like I did the previous problem. I know what my slope is, and I know a point on the line, and I can choose either one of those that I want. Maybe I'll take this first one. I'll use -2 as my x and 13 as my y. So using y equals mx plus b, I'll plug in 13 for y, -5 for m, because that is my slope. For x, I'll plug in -2, which is my x coordinate, and I don't know what b is. Now let's solve that for b. And subtracting 10 from both sides, I get that b is equal to 3. Now I have my information to write the equation of the line. Y equals -5x plus 3. So in this video, we took a look at how to write and how to graph equations of lines in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. It tells us where the graph of the line crosses the y-axis and what its slope is.